Welcome to Gardening with Daddy Pete. Let's join our host, Melvin York.
Well, good morning, everyone. And this is Melvin York. You're listening to Gardening with Daddy Pete. I want to thank you so much for tuning in. If you get a moment, if you'd like to check out some of our other podcasts, you can go to daddypetes.com. That's daddypetes with an S.com, and look under our archived versions of our podcast, and the different topics may help you out. And here in the Piedmont in North Carolina, it looks like we have a promise of rain after so many weeks. It does look cloudy. I don't know if we're going to actually get the rain, but it does look like that we may actually get a little bit. And so we'll be so thankful for that. Now, I know that it is here, the beginning of November. Everyone's starting to get holidays on their mind, but yet there's so much to do and left to do in the garden and your yards, the landscape area, trees and all. We're beginning to get in a time now where the temperatures are falling. All your deciduous trees are losing their leaves. We have that to deal with. Also, pruning will be another chore that needs to be done shortly, if not within the next few weeks. This will be a good time to do your pruning. So we'll talk more about that in the upcoming versions in the next week or two on how to and what to do on your pruning. What I'd like to talk about today or remind you of is some things. And if you've listened to our podcast before, you know that I'm very much a stickler on keeping a gardening journal. And that is one of the best references you can look back from what you did this year so you'll know how to plan for next year. Now, my grandfather always told me that if I didn't know what I was going to do the next day, you wouldn't get anything done. So you can't wait until the morning up and decide what you're going to do today and accomplish everything you want to do, especially in gardening when you need to find seeds, you got to hunt up seeds, gardening tools. Is it the right time? So let me give you just a little hint on that. This gardening journal and watching the weather will help you in gardening more than anything. You will become, if you're an avid gardener, if you're just now starting, you will see that every day you'll be checking the weather, sometimes once or twice. You're looking for the temperatures. Is it going to freeze? Is it too cold? Is it going to be too hot? Do I need to cover a plant with some shade cloth because the sun's too much? Is it going to freeze? Do I need to bring plants inside? Do I need to protect those? So you're going to, honestly, you will become a avid weather watcher. So just a hint there of some of the things you can do or going to be doing if you're a new gardener. And trust me, it works out well to do that. So planning ahead, and that's one reason for your journal. So if you've got that journal or you haven't started yet, go ahead and get it. Go back from memory, the types of seeds that you planted, types of plants that you bought and used, where you bought them, and if you can recollect when you actually sown those seeds or set those plants out. Make a comment. How did they do for you? And again, weather has a big role in playing on how we produce and how much we produce with our vegetables and our fruits. That's another thing you might want to do is note that it's very hot for the last 2 weeks. The tomatoes are not doing it. I'm showing a little bit of wilt on these plants. They didn't actually perform the way I wanted them to do because we were in actually a dry or hot period, or vice versa. We've had a wonderful spring season. Temperatures have been perfect, just the right amount of rain. So again, these are things you note from year to year, so you will not be disappointed in how your crops turn out from year to year. And I think that's just a good way to look at it because you can actually look and see what happened, what performed. Do I want to try another variety, whatever. Now, we've talked about this before, but it's just something I think needs to be brought up. In that journal, here's another good thing to look at. In January 2024 of this year, if you live around the North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, Tennessee area, you can come to the Greensboro Coliseum, January the 18th and the 19th. There will be, North Carolina Green and Growing Show. That's your North Carolina Nursery and Landscape Show. You can walk the marketplace, come in, and it is packed all the way through with different vendors there and different ideas, new techniques, new pots, different seeds, new variety of plants, soils amendments, tools, equipment. It's all there. And if you're a gardener or planning to be a gardener this year, this is a well put together event to give you an idea of what's going on and what that you'll be able to buy at your garden centers this year. If you do make it down that way, I would suggest that you come on the 18th. That the marketplace or the show is from 9 until 5 that day. On Friday, the show goes from 9 until 2. So a little bit shorter day. And while you're down there, make sure that you come by my booth, Daddy Pete's booth. We're in booth 907 at the Greensboro Grading and Growing Show. Again, that's January the 2024, January the 18th and 19th. So come by, talk gardening. Would love to meet you. Just sit down and be glad to show you our different soils. Let me know what you're doing. I can recommend what you need to do if you're a first-time gardener. Love to give you some tips on that. So again, we're back to the journal. We're back to planning. I know we have holidays right now, and everybody's excited about that, and so am I, because I love to eat. And Thanksgiving, the turkey. Everybody says pumpkin pie. I say sweet potato pie, just my thing. Then, we've got Christmas. We've got all the candies. We've got all the cakes. We've got all the cookies. We've got the hams. Turkey again, maybe. Again, I'm a fan of all the above, but right after Christmas, that's the time to start sowing seeds for your spring garden. Now, we are very lucky here in North Carolina that we can grow 3 crops a year. We do cold weather crops. At the start of the year, we go through our spring, summer crop, and then we go back to cold weather crops for the fall. So we are very blessed that we can just about continually keep something growing. Again, with that journal, you can still be planting fruit trees, fruit bushes all the way through, and just as long as the ground's not frozen. Again, these are things we're going to touch on in the upcoming weeks. So most of all, get that journal started today. No more than just a 3-ring binder or a composition book. Go ahead and start that. Go back off your memory. Put down what you would like to grow next year. Make a list of the vegetables that your family likes to eat or the fruits that your family likes to eat. And then make a list of something that you'd like to try different. I would also recommend that if you can look on the North Carolina Extensions Service page, it will also give you a list of the vegetables that grow well in your area. If not, join a gardening club in your area. Have neighbors that's been gardening for years. Ask them what varieties they plant, when they plant them, and we will also have that for you in the upcoming weeks. So we want to get you started, get you prepared now. If you're going to garden and be successful in 2024, now is the time to start that journal, start making your list, keep it available, just write it down. Go ahead, if you're a new gardener, start at your local weather forecast. Everyone has, I check 2 different ones every day and several times a day. That way you know what to expect when the weather's coming, and you'll actually get where you jot it down when you're doing your planting. It was so many degrees today I planted, and then if we have a cold spell, you can actually do that. I like to buy one of the large calendars, desk calendars, so I can kind of just jot down rain or no rain and temperatures. So that way it coincides with my journal. Well, these are just a few tips that help you out today, and I certainly would appreciate if you would go to our webpage, which is daddypetes.com, and look around everything. Check out our soils and our different mixes. And while you're there, and also while you're on our page, check out our podcast. There's also a place there where you can ask questions, and we will get back to you with an answer. Whether you leave us an email to get back or a phone number, I do answer our questions. So we certainly do appreciate everything you've done as far as turning in and listening to us, and we hope that you'll join us again and go to our webpage and check that out. At Daddy Pete's, we do have a slogan, we have a motto, we have a mission, and it's we help you grow, and we most certainly mean to do that. So until next time, I've enjoyed this today, and I wish you happy gardening and happy holidays.
Thank you for joining today's Gardening with Daddy Pete. You can check out our website at daddypetes.com for additional gardening tips, and our podcast at gardeningwithdaddypete.podbean.com. You can also join us on Amazon, Apple, or Spotify.